Hello, I'm Mike Haase, this week's host of the NIU Football Spring Report, as we continue to take a look into spring practice for the reigning defending MAC football champs, the NIU Huskies. Last week, Andy Garcia went in depth on the NIU offense with offensive coordinator Eric Eidsness, as well as wide receiver Trayvon Rudolph and tight end Liam Sorahan. This week, we're going to look at the defense with co-defensive coordinator and cornerbacks coach Nick Benedetto. And I'll also be joined later by junior linebacker Nick Rattin and sophomore safety CJ Brown. Before we talk to Coach Benedetto, I want to remind you that season tickets are on sale now for all 6 home games of the 2022 season at niuhuskies.com/tickets or by calling 815-753-PACK. Tickets start at $97 for all 6 home games for general admission Eastside tickets, or fans can also purchase a minimum of 4 reserve season tickets through the Huskies plan for just $88 each. If you're already a season ticket member, you can renew your season tickets for 2022 by logging into your My Huskies account. And now to start the show, one of the newest members of the NIU football coaching staff, cornerbacks coach and co-defensive coordinator, Nick Benedetto. Joined now by one of the newest members of the NIU football coaching staff. He is co-defensive coordinator and cornerbacks coach, Nick Benedetto. Coach, thanks for giving us some time today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on today, Mike.
Coach Benedetto, a Chicagoland native from Crystal Lake. So what was it coming from Samford in the FCS down in Alabama that kind of piqued your interest to want to come up to DeKalb?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, what Coach Hammock and his staff have done here has been a tremendous opportunity to join their program, and it's a home for me. I mean, I grew up 45 minutes from DeKalb, in Crystal Lake, Illinois. So to be able to come home, got a lot of cousins, families, aunts, uncles, everyone here. But the number one thing that intrigued me is just what Coach Hammock has done here and how he developed his staff and his players to be able to join them and be able to learn from them is a tremendous opportunity that I really enjoy each and every day I go to work.
Now you come to being the co-defensive coordinator as a person who actually played defensive back in high school and in college. And I'm just curious, as someone who didn't really play football a lot, when you watch college football now, it feels like everybody's in the shotgun. Everybody's trying to spread you out with 3 and 4 wide receiver packages. So does that defensive back position, that whole secondary in general, become much more important now just because of how offenses are trying to attack the defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as a defensive back, playing it and then obviously coaching it is, one step here or there the wrong way can be an explosive play for the offense. But, one step the right way can be a PBU interception. So you really got to relish that opportunity as a defensive back, and it's every position in football, but the little things always matter, and it's the attention to detail at that position that'll whether you're successful or whether you're not.
Now, this is an interesting time for you to come on to a staff that is trying to now defend a MAC championship that they won last season. Now you've been here for a couple of weeks, you got your feet underneath you. What have been your first impressions of this defensive unit?
Oh, it's great to learn, from the rest of the guys on the staff and get to know the players. The players have been awesome. They give their everything every single day. And it's a joy to, come into the football facility and work in the program off of that. I mean, and it's a collective group, collective unit. And so we're all trying to learn together and learn how to, put the best product on the field defensively for Northern Illinois.
What has been a big adjustment for you? I mean, you've pretty much coached at almost every level in college football, and now coming up from Samford in the FCS, as I mentioned earlier, to a MAC program like NIU. What has been one thing that you've noticed is quite possibly a big adjustment going into the season ahead for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think football is football no matter what level it is. I mean, there's things that you learn from high school coaches that you take and learn at the collegiate level. But I think just the structure and how the culture is at Northern Illinois is just a level above. And you could tell why we were MAC champs here a year ago, and you can tell that the standard is the standard here and what we expect to do each and every year.
Now, looking at your group on paper defensively, it's a lot of guys that, have sophomores and juniors by their name, but they've played a lot of football because of the redshirt rules, everybody getting a COVID year. So these are guys that, have played a lot and were able to win a title last year. Now, what is it that you can do to build on their experience to make them even better for this upcoming season?
Yeah, they're a great group of kids, a great group of young men. And, all you're trying to do is give them the tools to be successful. You're trying to give them one or two little things that can help improve their craft on the football field in order for them to make the play, to make the big plays. And so when you come into a program like this, you try to learn from everyone that is here, learn the ins and outs, learn the ways that you can help the players and help them, find a way to just get, 1% better, just get a little better, because that's what you're trying to do. You restart every year. Every single year you got to restart. You got to teach the base, teach the basic concepts, but you're trying to make sure their craft as an individual player improves, whether that's, a little technique adjustment, maybe it's just better communication, and then maybe it's just a, little thing in a coverage that you're trying to do to help, put the guys in a little better position, because it's all about, the little things when it comes to the wins or losses. The MAC is a very competitive conference, as you could tell by the scores from last year. So it all comes down to one or two plays.
And I think we all saw that last season with this team, with how many games they won by one score or less, how many games came down to a final possession. And defensively, it was a group that was able to make plays to get, the opposing offense off the field for our offense to come on the field and score. For this year ahead, what is it that you're working on in the spring to maybe get some more of those explosive plays that you mentioned at the top? Those plays that become, those pass breakups that may become interceptions, those sacks that can become sack fumbles to really flip the field. What's something you can work on with these guys in the spring to take this defense from a team that was good enough to win games to a group that would become a little more dominant and create some of those turnovers and havoc plays like you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, there's a great defensive staff right here. Obviously being able to work with all of them has been tremendous. And all you're trying to do is get, interceptions, takeaways, all that stuff. That happens when players know exactly what they're supposed to do, what's their technique on their job, responsibility, because defensive football is all about rules and reaction. And so if you know your rule and you can react at the proper time, big plays happen. When you start playing slower or guessing, that's where an offense can, have a couple more explosive plays. So what we're trying to do, especially if, our position, is just make sure our players know the rules. And if you know the rules of the call and execute your technique at a high level, that's where, you could see success, within the scheme and then within your position group. So that's what we're trying to focus on right now.
Mentioned that not only are you going to be the co-defensive coordinator, your position group is the cornerbacks, and that's a group that has a couple talented sophomores in it, and Javon Bird, Eric Rogers. I think the player a lot of fans here locally like to watch is Jordan Gandy, who's from DeKalb High. He had 10 pass breakups last year. He's a guy who also likes to get his nose dirty, made a lot of tackles, so he's good on the boundary. Talk about your group that you get to work with, not so much on a daily basis here in the spring, but that you have been working with, and just kind of their outlook heading into the fall.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very competitive. We got, 5 guys that are, vying for that spot. And the guys you mentioned, Bird, Gandy, Rogers, Cyrus is another young player that's done well for us in spring. And so, those guys, what I love about them is they give their all every single day. And they go compete. And, one thing that's awesome about spring ball is you find out what type of teammates you have. When a guy makes a big play, it even happened today. Jordan Gandy had a big PBU on a boot play. And then you see Bird, who's on the other side as a corner, celebrating his success. And so I think, what we've seen out of that group, the cornerback group, is they're celebrating each other's success, but also competing at a high level in order to win the job. And so the best part about it is the competition makes you better. And I think Coach Hammock does a great job of making sure we compete. We play fast and physical all the time, and you could really see that out of the corner group. Now, we got a long way to go for just being able to understand leverage and keys and eyes. But our players, they enjoy and relish in other people on the team's success on defense. And so that's probably the biggest joy that I get from coaching them.
And that probably has to be good too, in terms of depth, right? In terms of having guys that, with all these guys that are competing for time, they may also be, being in on nickel and dime in those sub packages where you may have 3 or 4 corners on the field at a time.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking, right now, when you play a game, of course, of a season, you're obviously going to have things where guys are going to have to step up and two different roles. And so the more we can compete right now and understand the rules of the defense, the better, collectively we'll be. And yeah, because Gandy's a guy, he could play multiple spots. He did last year, when you turn on the film. And so he's able to, the more versatile you are and the more depth you have, it creates a great opportunity to be successful as a, total defensive unit.
And then we'll wrap up with this. I know it's 5 months away, but when Husky fans come out that first Saturday in September to see this team play Eastern Illinois at Husky Stadium, what do you want their takeaways to be about your defensive group on the field?
Yeah, I think, when you watch the film, are they playing fast? Are they playing hard, and they play together? I think that's the main simplest form. If you could break down defensive football, did you play fast? Did you play hard? And did you play together? And you can go through little fine details of that. Is playing fast is knowing your rule, knowing how you're supposed to react and go. Playing hard is defensive football is about a chip on your shoulder. Are you willing to do what it takes that others aren't to, get off a block, pursue, all those, little things that go into it. And then playing together, do you see the guys communicate well? Do you see them make sure that in the heat of the moment, are they using hand signals to make sure they're on the same page? And so, that first game, we look back and you see those things. That's how it's going to, amount to the success on the scoreboard. So it's not necessarily the scoreboard, but it's what you're doing within, those each and every plays and technique, which that scoreboard will take care of itself.
All right, Coach Benedetto, you've still got another week left to go here in spring, but it sure sounds like you're laying the blueprint for what you want this defense to look like coming up in the fall. It's definitely exciting times for NIU as they defend their MAC title. Good luck this season. Hopefully you're getting acclimated back to being up here in Illinois, and we'll see you down the road.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's great to be back here. And I'm looking forward to it. And one more week left to finish strong.
All right. I'm now joined by two key members of the NIU defense, sophomore safety CJ Brown, junior linebacker Nick Rattin. Guys, thanks for giving us a couple minutes of your day today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Now, besides both being teammates, there is one thing you guys do share in common. You guys have both scored a pick six in your career here at NIU. Nick, you did it as a freshman against Akron in the homecoming game. CJ, you had yours against Kent State in the MAC title game this past season. Take me through what that's like in the moment to get that interception and score.
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, I just feel like it was surreal. Even to be at home, be at the Lions Stadium playing for a MAC championship, I feel like it was crazy. And then be able to help our team out and really impact that. I feel like that pick six really helped us to really put them away.
And then Nick, talk about yours, because you just gotten into the starting lineup as a walk-on freshman, and then you have a big play in a big game like that at home.
I mean, obviously, it helped me out a little bit getting that pick six, but kind of like what CJ said, it felt good just to help to contribute to the team, especially at such a young age. And, it obviously felt good to score my first touchdown as a true freshman walk-on. And, I think it helped me earn a scholarship, and I think it kind of set me up for some good things down the line.
Nick, talk about that process a little more, because this coaching staff is one that likes to praise the walk-ons. They do their walk-on Wednesday tweets about guys who have come on to the program as walk-ons and have worked their way into their scholarship. How did that go for you?
Well, obviously I wasn't a very heavily recruited kid. I got kind of lucky that my high school coach actually played with Coach Hammock, so I kind of had it in that way. So Coach Hammock came to my school one day, gave me a preferred walk-on spot, and I kind of just ran with it because I believed in myself. And I think, for anybody looking to walk on here at NIU, I think you get a fair shake. I do believe in that, and like we always say, it's walk on you. You know what I mean? You come here, work hard, do the right things, take care of your school. Just be a good person that Coach Hammock always talks about, and there's no reason that you shouldn't succeed.
CJ, what's it like for you being and some of the other guys on the team when you see that moment where the coaches will do whatever it is they're going to do, the big showy thing of giving the walk on their scholarship? What's it like for the other guys on the team to see a player like Nick get rewarded for their hard work on the field?
I feel like it's great to see that, man. You see the hard work that the players have put in. Like, you work out with them time in, day out, and it's like I mean, you just see the work pay off. People even cry when they get put on scholarship. I mean, in fact, it's a really a great moment for everybody that receives a scholarship that's a walk on.
You can't help but notice the sign behind Nick's head right there in his room about the 2021 championship you guys won last season. I know in the spring football press conference before you guys started practices, Jordan Gandy and Rocky Lombardi talked about how that's already now in the past and you guys are working towards, the 2022 season and defending that title. I'm just wondering, how much time did you guys actually get to revel in it? Like, that you really got to celebrate hard that you'd worked so hard to win that championship. And do you find yourselves at times now in the spring thinking like, oh yeah, we won the MAC championship last year? Is there still times where you got to, proverbially pinch yourselves and think, hey, we won this all last year?
I feel like we all obviously know that we won the MAC championship. Like we all kind of think about it at times, but then again, like you can't really dwell in the past. You have to like keep looking forward. Like now we're just trying to be the best team like NIU has ever had here. So it's like, yeah, the MAC champion was cool, but like we're reaching for more now.
Nick?
Yeah, kind of going off what CJ said. I mean, obviously, after the season's done and you're kind of at home for the holidays or whatever, you get some time to reflect. But, if I know the way our program is and I know the way that our team is, like CJ said, we kind of put it behind us. I mean, nothing last year really matters for this year. So as cool as it was, the journey starts back up and the journey continues. So you have to keep working for that spot again. And like CJ said, again, we're trying to, we just talked about +3. So +3 means that we want 3 more wins this year to make us the best team in NIU history. So that's what our goal is this year.
All right. And it seems like what should be an attainable goal considering what you guys are bringing back on defense. Because when you look at your group as a whole, a lot of guys that have, sophomore or junior by their name on the roster, but you guys have played a lot of football and gotten a lot of game experience. CJ, for you personally last year, being a first team All-MAC selection, having to be a next man up once Devin Lafayette got hurt. What is something that you're trying to work on in these spring practices to better yourself for the upcoming fall?
I just feel like for me personally, it's really kind of helping the young guys out. Like spring ball is more for a time for improvement and developing like the players we have and kind of coming closer as a team. So I just feel like obviously like the coaches know what I can do. So I just feel like I'm just helping the younger guys really get the defense down, kind of making checks, not nervous to do stuff, and kind of just being a helping hand, being a leader at times. So I just felt, yeah, that's mainly where I'm coming from with it.
And then Nick, your group too, a lot of young guys, but a lot of guys that made some impact plays last year, whether it was yourself or Jaden Dolphin, Makai Nelson, Douglas. Talk about what you guys are doing in your linebacker room.
I think a good thing about our linebacker room is that, everyone's competing for a spot, whether it's, whether you've been a starter, the last couple of years, whether you've been a starter, just as of recent. I mean, competition always brings out the best in people. And I think that's what the key of our group is. And I don't see it as people, trying to hold people down, because sometimes, people get in their feelings or whatever. But I think what makes our group great is that, we're all trying to make ourselves better while we're also competing.
You look back at last season, a lot of exciting games, a lot of close games, a lot of one possession games. It felt like watching your group, clearly you would get the stops you need late in the game to give the offense the ball and give them the chance to win the game. What is something that the entire defense can build upon, and if it's something you're working on this spring, to maybe, try to make those games not, clearly exciting is fun, but try to, a little more ease of comfort, I guess, in watching, in terms of whether it's getting more pressure on the quarterback, getting more turnovers. What kind of has been the emphasis on that so far this spring?
So this spring with Coach Benedetto, he's really been focusing more on like the turnover aspect of it. So kind of getting like 3+ turnovers during our practices, like kind of correlate to the game and what we would do. Like if we get 3+ turnover, then we have a big win margin. Like obviously, like you said, like winning the games by 1 point, 2, 3 points, it's like it's good, but we want to start like blowing teams out, and we know we have the team for that, and then we have the defense for that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Just the whole takeaway and turnover thing, especially the way our offense plays. We always talk about playing complementary football, and if we get 2 or 3 turnovers a game, it's going to be very hard for teams to beat us.
Certainly will, especially when you think about all the talent coming back on offense as well. Let's get off the field for a second. With spring practice coming in, I want to know the one thing that you guys are able to do outside of football during this spring semester that you wouldn't normally get to do in the fall. Or is just football your entire life?
I mean, football is definitely a big portion of our lives. I would say it's kind of similar in the season, really, to what we're doing. I would say you probably have more time for like a social life in a sense, like spring wise. Because like obviously in season you have practice meetings, and then it's like a lot more going into that because you have to prepare for the next team week in, week out. Like now it's like, okay, you watch film and then you go over what you do and what you need to do better and learn the new install. But it's not as much time spent into it like in the fall. So I would just say, yeah, social life for sure.
Nick, do you agree?
I agree. This semester, I've been this has probably been my hardest semester of school, so I've been doing a bunch of schoolwork. But when I do get my free time, I love watching movies. So, you know, I love throwing on a movie like before bed or like on a Saturday night or something just to relax because, you know, you don't get that much time to relax while being a student athlete.
All right. So now that's a great unintentional segue because that is one of the quick hitters I had prepared for you guys. So we'll start with you, Nick, for this one. What is the last movie you saw in a theater?
Man, probably this summer we went to during fall camp for one of our days off. We went to we got a movie theater rented out in Sycamore for the whole team. That was a lot of fun. But we went to see Suicide Squad. I don't know if it was the first or second one, but that was the last movie I've seen in the theater.
CJ, what was the last one you saw? I'm guessing you were there too for that one, but
yes, I was there for that.
Okay,
one.
then let's go back to the second most recent one you saw there.
I mean, that was a minute ago. I like going to the movie. So I think the last movie I seen was Sing, I want to say. It came out in like December. I think that was the last one I went when I went to the movie theater, actually. But I think I might have seen one sooner, but I don't know. That's the last one I remember.
Okay. So the Masters is this week. Do you have a particular sporting event on your bucket list that you'd like to attend?
Man. You know, I think for me, I don't know if it's necessarily a sporting event, but I really want to go see a game at Fenway Park. You know, just the whole history behind it. And I think sitting, especially, you know, if I got seats on the Green Monster, I've always wanted to do that since I was a little kid. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think personally, I would want to go to a hockey game. I feel like I've never been to a professional hockey game. Like I've seen my high school play, but just to go down, maybe see like the Blackhawks play and just see that. Like obviously, like you said, the Masters, like that would be dope to see Tiger Woods go out there and give it his all. So I mean, I don't know, I would definitely say a hockey game though.
All right. For just in practice in general, do you prefer practicing in the morning or at night?
Morning for sure. For sure in the morning. You get your work done early.
Definitely morning guy. I feel like just not to get it out the way, but more so you're not really just thinking about the whole day and you just really get it out the way in the morning, practice, and then have the whole day to do whatever you need to do.
All right. What is a song that you need to hear on game day that really gets you going?
Oh, I can go first on this one. I'll probably say, I'm trying to think. I'm a big Drake fan, so probably, and I can think of the name of it. It would be "Headlines" by Drake. Probably that one's
all right
nice song for me.
Man, let me think.
I feel like CJ sufficiently stalled for you, Nick. Or just this particular artist or band, like somebody that you know that will get you in whatever proper mindset you need to get out on the field.
Last season, towards like the end of the year, I kind of got into like Greta Van Fleet. So I was listening to them. I don't necessarily have a particular song, but I'd probably say them. Or yeah, that's probably it.
All right, and then all right. So the last one here. So spring practice wraps up on Easter weekend. So with that in mind, what's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy, I would say M&Ms, but the pretzel M&Ms. Those are definitely
Pretzel
my
and
favorite. Yeah.
I'd say I'm a big Swedish fish guy. I love Swedish fish. I get Swedish fish for all the road trips and stuff.
all right. I like the diversity, you know, the gummies and then, you know, sweet and salty with the pretzel M&M. Another classic choice. I would go peanut butter M&M for my favorite one.
Okay, and peanut butter
M&M is great, but the one thing you could do, CJ, also I found, if you just find one of the M&M stores, like, you know, if there's one in New York City, I know there's one in Vegas, you can find one of those. You create what my mom would call M&M salad. So you just get all your favorite ones, you just put it in a bag, and then you never know which one you're going to get.
Hey, that's true. That would be good.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me today. Good luck wrapping up the spring. We can't wait to see you guys out on Husky Stadium's field the first Saturday in September.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
For having us.
Exciting times indeed for NIU football as it continues to prepare to defend its MAC title from a season ago. Fans, if you want to get an up-close look at the 2022 Huskies, come out to the Spring Showcase on Saturday, April 16th at Husky Stadium at 10 a.m. Come out and watch practice. It should be a scrimmage in there as well. You can hear from head coach Thomas Hammock and bring the kids for the Husky Egg Hunt. Hundreds of candy-filled eggs will be on the field for the kids to find, and the NIU football team will be there to help. My thanks again to co-defensive coordinator Nick Benedetto, as well as Nick Rattin and CJ Brown for joining me this week on the NIU Football Spring Report. I'm Mike Haase. Thanks for watching, and go Huskies.